Is it 7 o'clock?
You're live, yeah, it's 7 o'clock.
We're live.
We're live.
Dick-a-dick-a-dick-a-doo. Welcome
Good
to
evening.
Live World.
Welcome to Live World, our world.
I tell you what, it was a lot easier when it wasn't live because we didn't care when we started.
Yeah. So this is
What
the
time we
tavern.
want to start? We could just be like, yeah, it's 7 o'clock. Push it. Meanwhile, it's 5:30.
This is the tavern. So let's stand up for a pledge of allegiance. 1, 2, 3.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Hope you joined us.
Oh, all right.
So tonight's topic, we're going to do Ukrainian biolabs and money laundering operations that our politicians are hiding and panicking over. Jack, we're going to do like a little bit of Ukraine war.
I'm just going to explain the why this Ukraine war is much more complicated than our news is saying.
Right. So we
First,
all
I'm
know.
going to do my opinion,
You're going to do your opinion?
and then I'm going to do a factual speech that was made through a speaker, through my good old alma mater, Isdale College. 42 certificates later, no credits.
But we all know that we live in a corrupt country. For those people that are brainwashed by our politicians and news medias, like CNN and Fox, there's a lot of people brainwashed out there by these news media outlets. Doesn't matter, left wing, right wing, they all try to brainwash people. So it's time to wake up, start doing some research, your own research. However, we're not the only corrupt country in this world. There are many more that are just as corrupt or more corrupt and mislead their citizens as much as our government does. The United States government gives billions and billions of dollars in foreign aid. Like we hand out money, or to hand out money launderers that we never get paid back. Whoever needs our help, we'll support them. But at what cost? What do these countries have to give up for the United States to send them money and supplies? I mean, it's not like our government or politicians will tell us, no, not at all. They don't owe us any favors. Jack?
Missy says, we miss you, Maria, as you having fun in Hawaii.
Yeah, my sister's in Hawaii.
She's an integral part of the show.
Yes, she is, but not this week or last week or next week.
Must be nice. One country that the United States doesn't want us to know they're laundering money to is Ukraine. And what they do in helping with research. Now, we can go back years and years when Biden was vice president, with him threatening the president of Ukraine about removing a specific person we won't name. You gotta remember his name?
Yeah.
Or how Hunter Biden was pushing for Ukraine when his dad was vice president. That's all under the table.
Well, that was a prosecutor. He was going to prosecute the energy company.
You know, this isn't a story about Biden, even though they have ties to Ukraine. This show wants to get involved, wants to talk about the United States is hiding from we the people. And should the government come clean and telling us what they have been hiding, what they're doing in Ukraine? I mean, I do agree that Ukraine has every right to defend themselves against a foreign invasion. I'm not going to talk about that much. And I agree that we should support Ukraine, which what we've been doing, sending them munitions. I like the no boots on the ground and giving them weapons, in my opinion, is the right thing to do. I asked a lot of questions on Facebook about what's happening in today's world. And this topic came from one of the several people I talked to. His name is Fred. This was a while ago. This show is all about Ukraine biolabs and the Ukraine war and money laundering operations that our politicians are hiding and panicking over. Are biolabs fact or fiction? We'll let you decide. But we'll let Jack start us off.
All right. I'm going to start off by a little history. No, it's not going to be. I'm not going to start off. My second part's going to be a little history and the complexity of this Ukrainian war. What I'm going to start off with is my opinion of us and the Ukrainian war. So I'm going to do some reading because it's a lot of information and I don't want to get it wrong. So this is just my opinion on what I've seen and found, and then I started looking into other things, and I found a real nice. Later on, I'll go through it. Speech that was made. So Ukraine was under attack at the beginning of World War II because Hitler wanted that part of Europe because it was a wheat producing country, and he wanted to be able to feed his war machine. Today, with the lack of history and study and no staff or secret sources we don't have, to me, it seems like there are a few different reasons why Putin's Russia has been attacking Ukraine since Obama was in office. Putin started by invading Crimea. It's an island that was part of Russia since 1783. And that's when Obama embarrassingly offered Ukraine's support by giving them blankets. And so that was, just as bad as Germany this time offering helmets, this time around. So what do you think caused Russia under Putin's rule to attack Ukraine both times?
Democratic.
Well, this is my opinion, and it's my second part is very in detail. The first time, I believe it was a test. I think he was seeing what would happen in the worldview, and especially the United States. And I think he was absolutely loved the response because he could fight right through those blankets without even breaking a sweat. So what happened from that time to this time of that attack? All right. Well, it really wasn't an attack. He just walked into Crimea and said, "This is ours." Stuck his flag in the ground. Peace. So I think the first thing they did was he took notes and came up with a plan that was foolproof. So he thought. Second thing, he started to implement his plan by completely making Europe dependent on his energy, on Russia's energy. And he had a huge obstacle. It was called Donald Trump. Trump got elected through a belief in American greatness, which has been it's been missing in this country, I believe, since just before Trump got elected.
So if they're saying make America great again and build back better, make with each administration, they never believed this country was great.
No,
not Republicans and Democrats. They've never believed this country was great. So we got to make country great again. You can't win.
So Trump stood in his way, and his biggest thing he did was he stopped that pipeline to Germany. So as soon as he made Russia stop doing that pipeline, Trump started to build up NATO and started beginning to get NATO to be the powerhouse against communism. The reason it was developed to begin with, NATO was put there to fight communists and keep it where it was, so we didn't have another World War, Hitler-esque type takeover of Europe, the continent. And they had to start paying into NATO. It wasn't just left on us. NATO was falling apart before then. There was no money going into it. So the third thing that happened, now Putin had to change his strategy because Trump now had Europe buying their energy from America. And the greatest thing about that was America now became an export of energy. And that destroyed Russia's economy. But by doing this, he caused Russia to align with an old enemy, their oldest enemy, one of their oldest enemy. And it was another country that was suffering from Trump's America First policy, and that was China. And the reason why they did this is because, like the old saying goes, there's power in numbers. So now these two countries joined forces, and what did they do? They put their heads together and found more numbers to come together with, who were also on the brink of ruin on their economy from the new American First policies, and signed up Iran, North Korea, and a little known ally up until just recently started hitting the news, India. All right? Mm-hmm. So now they have all of these countries, Iran, North Korea, India, Russia, and China. And one I forgot that just newly came on TV and said they were in talks with them is Turkey. Turkey now is starting to fall into their fold. So that's why NATO had to start building themselves up, because now you have these two powerhouse communist countries joining together, grabbing Iran, grabbing North Korea, grabbing Turkey, getting India's confused. They don't know what they want to do. All they know is they got to feed, 2 billion people, So now again, just my opinion, because we don't have any facts or inside resources except the one movie I got to watch, which was a 2,000 Mules. So these countries were going to conduct one more corruptible favor and get involved in America's presidential election of 2020. My belief. All right. Just by the one movie I saw and a few things I've seen, I don't have anything to back that up, but that's what I saw as. So, and who were they going to help? So they were going to help as much as they could to get the American presidential nominee who owed them, both countries, both heads of this monster that we have, millions and millions of dollars worth of favors. Biden. All right. So now the American constituent sat by while this was going on, and according to the U.S. Elections Board, 100% of the eligible voters in America apparently voted. And that's according to the numbers of votes casted between both candidates. Over 81 million allegedly voted for Joe Biden, and over 75 million voted for Trump, which equals to over 156 million votes that went out. And at that time, according to the Election Board of the United States, there was 160 million eligible voters. When did that ever happen? All right, so that's what happened. The fifth thing there, now Putin's obstacle, he's out of the way. He got voted out. And I do feel the attacks on Ukraine would have been over by now if the United States would have started drilling and having Europe buy the energy, continue to buy their energy from us. But no, they didn't. They stopped our drilling, stopped our exports. And now Putin put another pipeline in, started to. And, we see in the news, one of the pipes got blown up and stuff. But still, Europe is dependent on Russian energy. Period. The end. The United States now are going to try and get Iran, who is part of this alliance, Venezuela, who has now China and Russian troops doing military drills down there, right in the same continent that we're in, in the same hemisphere. So instead of getting their energy out of the market and making them bankrupt, now all of Europe is depending on them. And then so if we would have kept our drilling going and kept Russia energy out of Europe, right now, we wouldn't have to send money to Ukraine because Russia wouldn't be able to afford to invade. That's all there is to it.
They can barely afford to now.
Right. So imagine if they didn't have all this black market, above table, all of this energy money going out. We would not have had to give this money to them to defend themselves. But the United States, I think they did it over political greed. All right? Because today's politicians